This is the Tecno Pova 4 disassembly. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. And if you need any tools, there are links in the description. To start off, the SIM tray needs to be removed. Here is a better look at the SIM tray, and the red rubber gasket seems to be out of place. Now heat needs to be applied to the back plate to loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then a plastic pry tool can be used to pry the back plate off. Here's a better look at the plastic backplate. The camera lens covers can be replaced by applying heat and prying them off, so you won't need to disassemble the phone to replace those. There are 19 Phillips screws which need to be removed. Now a pry tool needs to be placed in between the back housing and the frame of the screen and ran along the edges to pop off the catches. The back housing is also made of plastic. The NFC antenna is located here, and there's a sheet of graphite film to help transfer heat. On the other side, there are numerous antenna flex cables around the back housing, along with the flex cable for the fingerprint reader. Once the battery cable is disconnected, we can proceed to disconnect the rest of the cables. There's a black coaxial cable on the bottom right side of the board, which needs to be disconnected by popping it off. The protective tape on the top rim needs to be peeled off, and the two Phillips screws holding down the main board need to be removed. On the main board, there's a 50 megapixel main camera and a 2 megapixel depth camera. The camera connectors can be disconnected by just popping them off. Also, none of the cameras have OIS or optical image stabilization. The dual LED flash is located here. There's a white liquid damage indicator sticker, a rubber gasket around this connector, and some graphite film over the shield. The SIM card and memory card reader is located on the other side, as well as the 8 megapixel front facing camera and the proximity sensor. There's also thermal paste on the back shields. Once the removable shield has been taken off, we can see more thermal paste on top of the RAM and processor. Here's a better look with the thermal paste removed. To remove the battery, there's an adhesive pull tab provided on the bottom to help you pry the battery off. I never have a luck with these type of pull tabs since they almost always tear, so now I'm going to have to apply some isopropyl alcohol around the edges of the battery and let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute so it eats away at the adhesive underneath, making it easier to pry it off. Here's a better look at the 6000 mAh battery. Once the battery is removed, we can see the flex cable for the screen, which is routed through an opening in the midframe. So if you needed to replace the screen, you'd have to remove the back plate, the screws in the back housing, disconnect the battery cable, the screen cable from the main board, as well as this flex cable connecting the subboard to the main board through the screen cable, and then you peel off this flex cable from the frame, heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath, pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive, reapply the new screen, making sure you run both flex cables with the openings in the midframe, and reassemble the phone. There's a single Phillips screw holding down the subboard, which needs to be removed. There's a rubber gasket on the charger port, headphone jack, and connector. There's also another liquid damage indicator sticker, which is that white sticker. The primary microphone is located underneath this rubber gasket. Here's a look at the other side. The vibrator motor is located here and is held down with some adhesive. The same goes for the bottom speaker. and top earpiece speaker. This flex cable is for the volume keys and power button, so if you need to replace that, you just have to gently peel it off. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 6 out of 10. Now it's time to reassemble the phone. Once everything's back in place, apply new adhesive and reapply the backplate. Flip over the phone, power it on, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.